Hey there, book lovers. Welcome to the Book Lounge, where we bring life-changing books straight to you. Today we have something truly powerful, Presence, Bringing Your Boldest Self to Your Biggest Challenges by Amy Cuddy. We all face moments that test our confidence, job interviews, big presentations, tough conversations. But what if you could walk into any situation with unshakable self-assurance? In this audiobook, Amy Cuddy reveals how small shifts in body language, mindset, and behavior can unlock the most authentic, confident version of yourself. No faking, no pretending, just real, lasting confidence. By the end of this, you'll have practical tools to tackle challenges head on, make a lasting impression, and step into any room with presence. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss a single word. Chapter 1. What is presence? Presence. It's that unmistakable quality that draws people in, commands attention, and exudes confidence. But true presence isn't about acting a certain way or forcing charisma. It's about fully showing up, being completely engaged, and aligning your thoughts, emotions, and body language with your true self. In this chapter, we uncover what presence really means and why it's so powerful. It's not about perfection or pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, presence is the ability to remain authentic and composed, even in the face of pressure. It's about accessing your most grounded, confident self when it matters most, whether you're stepping into a high-stakes meeting, giving a speech, or simply having an important conversation. Many of us shrink in challenging moments, doubting ourselves or overanalyzing every move. That self-consciousness disconnects us from our natural confidence, making us appear nervous or unsure. But when we are present, truly present, our body and mind work in harmony. We're not trapped in overthinking or paralyzed by self-doubt. We trust ourselves, speak with conviction, and project strength effortlessly. The chapter introduces the idea that presence isn't reserved for the naturally confident. It can be cultivated. By recognizing when we lose presence, whether through fear, stress, or self-doubt, we can learn to shift back into a state of power and authenticity. The key is understanding that presence isn't about dominating a room. It's about showing up as your real, unfiltered self and allowing that authenticity to shine. At its core, presence is the antidote to imposter syndrome, insecurity, and performance anxiety. It's what allows us to leave a lasting impact, not through force or bravado, but through the quiet power of being fully engaged, fully authentic, and fully ourselves. Chapter 2. Believing and owning your story. Your story is more powerful than you realize. It shapes the way you see yourself, the way you present yourself to the world, and ultimately the way others perceive you. But too often we let fear, self-doubt, or the expectations of others distort that story. This chapter is all about reclaiming it, believing in who you are, and fully owning your narrative. We've all had moments where we feel like imposters, like we don't truly belong or aren't good enough. That feeling can be paralyzing, making us hesitate, shrink, or hold back when we should be stepping forward. But here's the truth. When we don't believe our own story, no one else will either. Presence comes from an unshakable sense of self, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and embracing your experiences, both the triumphs and the struggles. This chapter reveals that confidence isn't about erasing doubt. It's about refusing to let doubt dictate your actions. The key is shifting from self-judgment to self-acceptance. Instead of obsessing over whether you're good enough or comparing yourself to others, focus on owning your journey, flaws, failures, and all. When you do that, you stop trying to prove yourself and start being yourself. One of the most powerful ideas here is that your story isn't just about what's happened to you, it's about how you interpret those experiences. Do you see setbacks as proof that you're unworthy, or as lessons that have made you stronger? When you reframe your story with courage and self-compassion, you stop playing small. You start walking into rooms knowing you belong, speaking with conviction, and carrying yourself with the presence of someone who believes in their own worth. Owning your story doesn't mean being perfect. It means being real. It's about embracing the fullness of who you are without apology or hesitation. And when you do that, something shifts. People listen. They connect with you. They trust you. Because nothing is more compelling than someone who stands confidently in their truth. The moment you believe in yourself, you change the way the world responds to you. So the question is, Are you ready to own your story? Chapter 3: Stop Preaching, Start Listening. How Presence Begets Presence. True presence isn't about dominating a conversation, speaking the loudest, or proving your intelligence. It's about connection. Real, meaningful engagement that draws people in and makes them feel seen and heard. And one of the most powerful ways to cultivate presence? Stop preaching and start listening. We often associate confidence with speaking, delivering the perfect argument, having all the right words, or making a strong impression. But this chapter reveals a crucial truth. Presence isn't about what you say. It's about how you make others feel. And nothing makes a person feel more valued than being truly listened to. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. They're waiting for their turn to speak, mentally crafting their reply instead of absorbing what's being said. This creates a disconnect. Conversations become battles rather than opportunities for genuine exchange. But when we listen fully without the need to prove ourselves, something powerful happens. The other person feels heard, respected, and in turn becomes more present themselves. This is the essence of how presence begets presence. When we show up fully in a conversation, not distracted, but truly engaged, we create a ripple effect. The other person feels safe enough to let down their guard, to speak openly, to match our level of engagement. Presence is contagious. But why is this so hard? One reason is fear. We fear silence, thinking it signals weakness. We fear not having the perfect response, so we rush to fill the space with words. But in reality, the most impactful communicators aren't the ones who dominate the room. They're the ones who make others feel important, who create space for authentic dialogue rather than a one-sided lecture. Another reason is ego. We want to be seen as knowledgeable, as experts, as people worth listening to. But the irony is, the more we push our point, the less people actually absorb it. Influence doesn't come from force, it comes from understanding. And understanding begins with listening. This chapter challenges us to shift from a performance mindset to a presence mindset. Instead of trying to impress, try to connect. Instead of focusing on the next thing you're going to say, focus on the person in front of you. Instead of filling silence with words, allow space for reflection, for thought, for real conversation to unfold. When we master the art of listening, not just hearing, but truly being present, we unlock a new level of confidence and connection. We become more persuasive, not because we're talking more, but because we're understanding more. And in that understanding, we build trust, influence, and the kind of presence that leaves a lasting impact. So the next time you step into a conversation, ask yourself, are you listening to reply or are you listening to understand? Because the more present you are with others, the more present they will be with you. Chapter 4, I don't deserve to be here. That sinking feeling of not belonging, the nagging thought that you're a fraud and any moment now, someone will find out. It's a feeling many of us know too well. This chapter dives deep into the experience of imposter syndrome, the belief that we aren't worthy of the opportunities we've been given, despite evidence of our skills and achievements. Imposter syndrome doesn't just affect a few, it's universal. From students to CEOs, from artists to scientists, people at every level struggle with the fear that they're not good enough. The irony? Those who are most competent often feel it the most. Why? Because high achievers set the bar so high that they believe anything short of perfection is failure. The problem is, when we buy into this false narrative, it changes the way we show up. We hesitate, second-guess ourselves, and shrink when we should be standing tall. Our body language, voice, and energy betray our inner doubt, and without realizing it, we send the message that we don't deserve to be where we are. This creates a vicious cycle. The more we feel like imposters, the more we act like imposters. And the more we act like imposters, the more we convince ourselves that our fears are real. But here's the truth. Presence and self-worth aren't about feeling confident all the time. They're about acting with confidence, even when doubt creeps in. The most successful people don't wait to feel like they belong before they step into their power. They take action, they show up, and eventually their mindset catches up with their actions. This chapter challenges us to rethink the way we see ourselves. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we need to focus on what we bring, our experiences, our insights, our unique perspective. It's not about being the smartest or the most talented in the room. It's about understanding that we are there for a reason. One of the most powerful takeaways here is that confidence isn't about erasing self-doubt. It's about not letting it control us. Doubt will always be there. But when we stop giving it power, when we choose to own our place in the room, we start to shift. We start to move, speak, and lead with presence. So the next time you hear that voice whispering, "I don't deserve to be here," recognize it for what it is, a lie. You do belong. You are enough. And the only thing standing between you and the confident presence you admire in others is the decision to believe it. Chapter 5: How Powerlessness Shackles the Self and How Power Sets It Free. Power. It's not just something granted by a title, wealth, or status. It's something deeply internal, something that can shape the way we think, act, and even carry ourselves. But what happens when we feel powerless? This chapter exposes the profound impact of powerlessness on the mind and body, and how reclaiming our sense of power can set us free. When we feel powerless, our entire presence changes. Our body contracts, our voice weakens, and our thoughts become filled with doubt. We become smaller, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And the worst part, we don't even realize we're doing it. Powerlessness seeps into our posture, our words, our decisions, making us hesitate when we should be standing tall. But why does this happen? The answer lies in both psychology and biology. When we lack a sense of power, our stress hormones surge, our executive functioning declines, and we struggle to think clearly. This isn't just a mindset issue, it's a physiological response. The more powerless we feel, the harder it becomes to access confidence, creativity, and resilience. We become stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and inaction. On the other hand, when we do feel powerful, not in an aggressive or dominant way, but in a grounded, self-assured way, everything shifts. Our posture expands, our breathing deepens, our thoughts sharpen. Power isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling ourselves, our fears, our self-limiting beliefs, and the way we show up in the world. This chapter emphasizes that true power comes from within, and we can cultivate it by making intentional changes. One of the most fascinating ideas is that power isn't just something we feel. It's something we can embody. When we physically adopt powerful postures, standing tall, opening up our body, holding our space, we send signals to our brain that reinforce confidence. This creates a feedback loop. The more we act powerful, the more we feel powerful. But the real magic happens when we combine both the inner and outer shifts, when our mindset and body language align. That's when presence becomes effortless. That's when we step into situations not with fear, but with assurance. That's when we stop asking for permission and start owning our space. The key takeaway: powerlessness is a prison, but we hold the key. By changing how we think, how we move, and how we carry ourselves, we unlock a version of ourselves that is bold, capable, and free. Because real power isn't given, it's claimed. And once we claim it, we change not just how the world sees us, but how we see ourselves. Chapter 6: Slouching, Steepling, and the Language of the Body. Before we even speak, our body has already sent a message. The way we sit, stand, gesture, and move communicates volumes about who we are, how we feel, and whether we believe we belong. This chapter uncovers the incredible power of body language, not just in how others perceive us, but in how we see ourselves. We often assume that confidence starts in the mind, but research tells a different story. Our body and posture don't just reflect our emotions, they actively shape them. Slouching, crossing our arms tightly, or making ourselves physically smaller doesn't just signal insecurity, it creates it. When we shrink ourselves, our brain follows suit, reinforcing feelings of doubt, fear, and powerlessness. On the other hand, expansive, open body language, what's often called high-power posing, does the opposite. When we take up space, stand tall, and gesture with confidence, we're not just performing presence, we're generating it. Our brain chemistry shifts, boosting testosterone, the dominance hormone, and reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. The result: we don't just appear more confident, we actually become more confident. This chapter highlights specific body language habits that can either strengthen or weaken our presence. Slouching. When we hunch over, drop our shoulders, or look down, we project insecurity. More importantly, we feel smaller, reinforcing a powerless state. Crossing arms defensively. While this can feel protective, it actually signals discomfort and resistance, both to ourselves and others. Self-touching gestures, fidgeting, playing with our hands, or touching our face repeatedly are subconscious signs of anxiety and doubt. Steepling, holding fingertips together in a steeple formation, is a powerful gesture that conveys confidence and authority, often used by leaders. Expanding, standing with feet firmly planted, chest open, and shoulders back radiates strength and helps cultivate an internal sense of self-assurance. The fascinating takeaway from this chapter is that our body language doesn't just influence others, it influences us. By making small adjustments to the way we hold ourselves, we can actually change the way we think and feel in real time. But presence isn't just about looking confident, it's about feeling it deeply and authentically. The goal isn't to fake confidence with forced body language, but to use intentional movement and posture to align with our most powerful self. When we do that, confidence becomes effortless. This chapter serves as a reminder that presence isn't just in our words, it's in the way we carry ourselves every moment of every day. The next time you step into a high-stakes situation, pay attention to your posture. Are you shrinking, or are you standing in your power? Because the way you hold yourself can change the way you see yourself, and ultimately the way the world sees you. Chapter 7: Surfing, Smiling, and Singing Ourselves to Happiness. Happiness, confidence, and presence often feel like things we need to think our way into. But what if the secret to unlocking them lies not in our thoughts, but in our actions? This chapter uncovers a fascinating truth. Our body, our behaviors, and even the activities we engage in have a profound impact on our emotions, shaping our ability to be present and powerful. The core idea here is simple yet groundbreaking. We don't just smile because we're happy, we can become happier by smiling. The mind-body connection is a two-way street. Just as our emotions influence our body language, our physical actions can directly influence how we feel. One of the key examples in this chapter is the concept of powerful, expansive activities, things that push us out of our comfort zones, challenge us physically, and force us to be fully in the moment. Surfing is one such example. When you're riding a wave, there's no space for self-doubt, no time to overthink. You have to be completely engaged, fully present. These types of activities naturally bring out our boldest, most authentic selves. But what about when we can't go surfing? That's where smiling and singing come in. Research shows that when we force ourselves to smile, even if we don't feel like it, our brain releases the same feel-good chemicals as when we smile naturally. It's a biological trick that can shift our mood, making us feel more positive, more open, and more confident. The same goes for singing. When we sing, whether in the shower, in the car, or in front of an audience, we engage our breath, posture, and voice in ways that create a sense of power and presence. Singing forces us to take up space, to project, and to let go of self-consciousness, all crucial elements of true confidence. What makes this chapter so powerful is the reminder that we don't have to wait to feel good in order to act confidently. Instead, we can use movement, expression, and even playful activities to generate the emotions we want. The more we engage in behaviors that foster happiness and boldness, the more natural these states become. Presence isn't just something we tap into during high-stakes moments. It's something we cultivate daily through the way we move, express, and engage with the world. Whether it's standing tall, taking deep breaths, forcing a smile when we need a boost, or belting out a song just for fun, these small actions have the power to rewire our mindset. So the next time you feel self-doubt creeping in, don't just fight it with thoughts. Change your physiology. Get moving. Laugh. Sing. Smile. Because sometimes the best way to shift our presence isn't by thinking our way into confidence, but by acting our way into it. Chapter 8. The body shapes the mind, so starfish up. The way we hold our bodies isn't just a reflection of how we feel. It actively creates our feelings. This chapter unveils a powerful truth. Our posture and physical presence can shape our mindset, influence our confidence, and even change the way others perceive us. The key? Learning to take up space and expand, what the chapter calls starfishing up. Imagine a starfish, wide and open, stretching its limbs in all directions. Now, compare that to someone curled inward, arms folded tightly, shoulders hunched. These two postures don't just look different, they feel different. One radiates confidence and power, while the other signals insecurity and smallness. What's fascinating is that when we physically embody these postures, our brain chemistry follows suit. This chapter highlights research showing that power poses, expansive postures where we take up more space, can boost testosterone, the hormone associated with confidence and dominance, while lowering cortisol, the stress hormone. The result? We feel more assertive, less anxious, and more capable of handling challenges. But why does this matter? Because when we feel powerless, our bodies instinctively shrink. We cross our arms, slouch, and physically withdraw, reinforcing the feeling of insecurity. Without realizing it, we send signals to ourselves and others that we lack confidence. The solution? Change the body to change the mind. The chapter encourages us to adopt high-power poses before stepping into situations where presence matters, whether it's a job interview, a big presentation, or any moment that requires us to show up fully. Standing tall, stretching out, lifting the chest. These simple adjustments can transform not just how we feel, but how we perform. But presence isn't just about making ourselves look powerful, it's about feeling powerful from the inside out. Expanding our body helps us step into that power, signaling to our brain that we are ready, capable, and worthy. The takeaway is clear. When in doubt, starfish up, take up space, own your presence, let your body lead the way, and your mind will follow. Because confidence isn't something we wait for, it's something we create, one posture at a time. Chapter 9, How to Pose for Presence. When we think about confidence and presence, we often focus on what's happening inside our minds, how we think, what we believe about ourselves, and how we prepare mentally. But what if the secret to unlocking true confidence lies in something far simpler, our physical posture? This chapter reveals the profound impact that our body language, specifically the way we pose, has on our sense of presence. The truth is, how we hold ourselves physically can completely shift our mental state, affecting our feelings of power, comfort, and even our social interactions. In this chapter, we're encouraged to think of posture not just as a way of communicating to others, but as a tool we can use to influence our own thoughts and emotions. When we pose ourselves with intention, whether it's standing tall, opening our arms, or using expansive gestures, we are actively shaping our presence, boosting our confidence, and setting ourselves up for success. The key concept here is the idea of power poses, specific postures that convey strength, assurance, and comfort in one's own skin. Think about the image of someone confidently standing with their feet planted, shoulders back, and chest open. This is a powerful pose. It's the kind of pose that signals to others you are ready, capable, and not to be underestimated. More importantly, though, these poses also signal to your brain that you are ready, that you can handle whatever challenge comes your way. This chapter introduces several ways to practice posing for presence. 1. Expand your space. Avoid shrinking into yourself. Take up space, spread your arms, and open your chest. This physical expansion reinforces the mental shift towards confidence and control. 2. Stand tall. The act of standing with an upright posture, shoulders back, and head held high directly impacts how you feel about yourself. When we stand tall, we feel more capable, more dominant, and more grounded in our own strength. 3. Relax into power. Power poses aren't about forcing yourself into a stiff, exaggerated stance. They're about relaxing into expansiveness. A powerful posture should feel natural and comfortable, like your body has room to breathe, move, and grow. 4. Use gestures. Simple hand movements and gestures can create an expansive presence. The way we speak and express ourselves physically can make us appear more dynamic, confident, and in control. While this chapter emphasizes the power of posing in the moments when we need to perform, like before a big presentation, a challenging conversation, or a job interview, it also encourages us to incorporate these practices into our everyday lives. When we take a moment each day to check in with our posture, to remind ourselves to expand, stand tall, and claim space, we are actively shaping a presence that reflects our inner power. It's important to recognize that presence doesn't require perfection. It's not about being flawless or never feeling nervous. It's about showing up as your authentic, boldest self and using your body to amplify your inner strength. It's about practicing poses that feel confident, not because they're forced, but because they resonate with who you truly are. The beauty of power posing is that it doesn't just boost how others perceive us, it changes how we perceive ourselves. When we physically embody confidence, our thoughts and emotions follow. We become more resilient, less anxious, and more capable of tackling the challenges in front of us. So the next time you're faced with a moment that requires presence, don't just prepare with thoughts, prepare with your body. Stand tall, open up, and pose for power. By doing so, you'll discover that the best way to feel confident and capable is often to show up as if you already are. Chapter 10, Self-Nudging, How Tiny Tweaks Lead to Big Changes. In this chapter, we explore the concept of self-nudging, the idea that small intentional adjustments in our behavior can have a profound impact on our mindset, confidence, and overall sense of presence. It's not about drastic, life-altering changes, but about the little tweaks we can make in our daily lives that slowly build up, leading to big transformations over time. Self-nudging is a powerful tool because it shifts our focus away from trying to make large, overwhelming changes. Instead, it focuses on making subtle shifts that are easy to implement, yet incredibly effective. The beauty of self-nudging lies in its simplicity. It's about small, consistent actions that, over time, accumulate and lead to substantial improvements in how we show up in the world. One of the most effective forms of self-nudging is altering our physical environment to encourage positive behavior. This could mean placing visual reminders of your goals in your workspace or surrounding yourself with objects that inspire confidence. It's about creating an environment that subtly nudges you to behave in ways that align with your boldest, most authentic self. These small cues might seem insignificant, but they are powerful because they prime our minds and bodies to act in ways that promote self-assurance. In the same vein, changing your body language can serve as a form of self-nudging. A few minor adjustments, such as standing taller, opening up your posture, or relaxing your shoulders, can dramatically change how you feel. By altering your physical stance, you're sending positive signals to your brain, boosting your confidence and reinforcing a sense of power. These little tweaks in posture have a ripple effect on your emotions, helping you feel more grounded, capable, and ready to face challenges with clarity and strength. Another important aspect of self-nudging is reframing negative thoughts. Often we become trapped in cycles of self-doubt and negativity, but changing the way we talk to ourselves can make a huge difference. Simple techniques like replacing "I can't" with "I'm learning how," or focusing on solutions rather than problems, can shift our mindset from one of helplessness to one of growth. By making these small adjustments in how we think and speak to ourselves, we create a more empowering inner dialogue that nurtures resilience and belief in our abilities. One of the most fascinating insights from this chapter is how tiny changes can disrupt old patterns and create new habits. For example, a person who struggles with public speaking might start by practicing in front of a mirror for just 5 minutes each day. Over time, this simple habit becomes a stepping stone to greater comfort and presence in front of an audience. What starts as a tiny nudge toward improvement snowballs into a new identity, a person who is confident and capable of speaking with authority. Self-nudging isn't just about changing specific behaviors, it's about fostering a mindset of continuous, incremental improvement. The key takeaway from this chapter is that progress doesn't always require monumental effort. Often, it's the small, daily actions that have the greatest impact over time. In the same way that we physically change the way we hold ourselves or adjust our environment to encourage positive behavior, we can apply the principle of self-nudging to our goals and challenges. The consistent, deliberate effort to make small tweaks in our routines and thoughts creates momentum. These shifts, though small, can lead to profound changes in how we see ourselves and how we show up in the world. So, whether it's tweaking your body language, reframing your thoughts, or making small changes to your surroundings, self-nudging empowers you to make lasting progress toward your boldest, most confident self. Small actions, compounded over time, have the power to lead to monumental shifts in presence and performance. It's not about waiting for a breakthrough. It's about making a series of intentional tweaks that, together, propel us toward our biggest goals and challenges. Final chapter, Fake It Till You Become It. In the final chapter, we explore one of the most empowering concepts, fake it till you become it. This chapter is about how we can intentionally transform our presence by using the powerful tool of behavior. Instead of waiting for confidence to appear, we are encouraged to act as if we already have it. The results are transformative. By adopting the posture and behaviors of someone who feels confident, we can trick our brain into actually feeling that way, ultimately becoming the confident, capable person we want to be. This chapter challenges the common belief that we need to wait for the right moment or the right feelings to take action. Instead, it proposes that confidence is not something we wait to feel, but something we can practice through small but deliberate actions. Acting confident, even when we feel uncertain, can lead to lasting changes in how we think, how we feel, and how others perceive us. It's about creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we act as if we already belong, we start to believe we do. Over time, those behaviors, standing tall, speaking assertively, and carrying ourselves with purpose, become ingrained in our identity, no longer requiring any faking at all. Fake it till you become it is not about pretending to be someone we're not. It's about stepping into the version of ourselves we want to become. This is especially important in high-pressure situations where we may be prone to self-doubt, like giving a presentation or going for a job interview. The pressure to be perfect can be overwhelming, and it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling unworthy. Yet, by consciously embodying the behaviors of someone confident and capable, we begin to challenge those feelings. Whether we feel it or not, by standing tall, making eye contact, and projecting warmth, we send powerful messages to both our brain and our audience that we are the real deal. The act of faking it is simply the first step in a larger transformation. At first, we may feel like we are playing a role or pretending, but over time, these behaviors become natural, and we begin to embody the confidence we initially faked. The more we practice these behaviors, the more they reshape our beliefs about ourselves. What was once an act becomes reality as our new behaviors shape our identity. By intentionally practicing power poses or using confident body language, we are programming our minds to align with the version of ourselves that we want to be. In this chapter, the idea of imposter syndrome also comes into play. Many high-achieving individuals struggle with feelings of not being good enough or worrying they will be found out as frauds. This feeling can be paralyzing, but by applying the fake it till you become it philosophy, we can combat those negative feelings. If we can learn to act as if we are confident and capable, regardless of how we may feel inside, we can begin to truly believe we belong in the spaces we occupy. This chapter provides hope for anyone grappling with imposter syndrome, showing them that their actions have the power to transform their internal narrative. The beauty of this chapter lies in its simplicity. It's a call to take action, to step into our power through small, consistent acts. It doesn't require us to wait for a magical moment of readiness or to wait until we feel perfect. The act of showing up, no matter the challenge, is what matters. Through deliberate, courageous action, we start to cultivate a new, more confident version of ourselves. The most important takeaway is that our behavior shapes our reality. And by altering how we show up in the world, we can reshape our mindset, our emotions, and even our success. Fake it till you become it is a mindset, a practice, and a way of living. The final chapter teaches us that we don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect feelings. Confidence, presence, and power aren't something we're born with. They are something we create through action. By choosing to act with courage and purpose, we can become the version of ourselves that we aspire to be, eventually making that transformation feel completely natural and effortless. It's not just about pretending, it's about becoming the best version of ourselves, one small action at a time. And that brings us to the end of Presence by Amy Cuddy. But your journey to confidence is just beginning. If this audiobook sparked new insights or shifted the way you see yourself in high-stakes moments, drop a comment below. Share what stood out to you, what you'll apply in your own life, and even what challenged your perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Book Lounge so you never miss another game-changing audiobook. And if there's a book you're eager to hear next, let me know. I'm always open to bringing you the best reads to transform your life. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.